just a hack. He's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
Make sure you check out BetOnline for all of your sports betting needs. For anything that I do betting related, I go on over to betonline.ag and I use promo code BELIEVE50. BetOnline has all of the latest updated odds for the NFL and college football seasons. Anything you need, whether it's futures, live in-game betting, no matter what, your football betting needs are met at BetOnline. And again, make sure you use that promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV50 to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. We're talking about defensive linemen on today's show, though. The biggest enemy of Sean Anderson in many of practices. Sean, I watched swing a lot of punches at defensive linemen. Just generally, your thoughts on defensive linemen? What do you think of them?
You know what?
Been a lot of fights.
I had more fights with linebackers and defensive backs than D linemen.
No, BS.
What do you mean?
Yeah, they were all no, because I watched you get into it with guys in one-on-ones. I watched you get into guys during team period. There were only a couple like singular incidents of defensive backs. And
me and Sean Antoine fought every day for spring ball my sophomore season. Every single day we fought.
But that wasn't like...
And that was on PAT and field goal.
Your battles with... Who was the one kid who was younger than us, who was like actually highly recruited, and he... oh my God, what is his name? He's from Florida. Yeah. You used to throw McDonough onto the ground like every time you did one-on-ones. That was always like I always came over to watch.
I fought with Whipper a lot. McDonough.
Whipper was a lot. Jose Duncan too. There was a lot.
I had no reason. Jose Duncan was just being nice to me by not absolutely destroying me, because he could have, and I was 270 pounds and he was 290 pounds of pure steel. But yeah, sure. McDonough was just like, and I like Ryan McDonough. I do, but sometimes there's a little bit extra. He never even talked trash. I was just in a bad mood. So he caught a
shocking Sean in a bad mood at football.
Dude, he caught a forearm, and we weren't even in pads yet. He caught a forearm right into his throat, where I just finished him to the ground. And that had put a target on my back for the rest of junior year spring. And then like all the defensive linemen after that practice were a little bit chillier to me. I'm like, that's not great. I get it. It happens.
Again, biggest enemy of defensive linemen is Sean Anderson. The transitive property applies here as well. Doing as we've done so far, we've got Power 5, G5, FCS guys that we're talking about. I'm going to start us off with my first Power 5 football player, although our understanding of what Power 5 is so different today as we take this, but I'm not taking us down that rabbit hole. Leonard Taylor is my first player for Miami. I've tweeted some clips of him. I'm trying to go a little bit off track of like the usual names that are brought up. I'm glad with two that you picked, but Leonard Taylor for me is the best pass rushing interior defensive lineman in the country. And I know that sounds like a really hot take, a crazy take. Go search through my tweets, the one I tweeted, the clips of Leonard Taylor, and go watch him go to work. The guy has some bend. He's got some juice. He's not good at anchoring. He's as he could be. He could be much better against the run. But when he is full go, full speed, my man is a problem causer against the pass. He was just a menace against Virginia.
Violent.
I know he's
violent.
Yeah, that's not exactly like the pinnacle of the ACC in terms of offensive line talent. But he beat the living hell out of that offensive line. I just think he's got a lot of juice, and I think if he maybe improves and is a little more well-rounded, I see a first-round defensive tackle.
Wow. The defensive tackle class this upcoming season, I think, from what I've seen, is pretty good. There's a lot of good talent. So first, you got the Illinois boys.
Yeah, it's pretty typical.
And then, I'm sure it's typical. But Leonard Taylor is just...
Doesn't mean it's not good. I'm just sorry.
Continue. Sure, why not? Yeah. You took Taylor from me, so, that's fine. Regardless, you could put him out on a tackle, and he would give a tackle problems. You could put him on a center. He would give a center problems because he's got fast hands. He's got active hands. And then when he commits to a throw or a rip, he really commits. And some guys, it's like, okay, defensive linemen will say, oh, I did my move. That was my move, and you either win or you get blocked. I don't see a lot of that from Leonard Taylor, it is, hey, okay, I did my move. Am I there? No. Time for another move, or time to continue the move. So the defensive lineman can just be so mechanical sometimes and robotic with, this is the order I was given. This is what I need to do. I did it because it's defense. It's just different. It's a different mentality. Leonard Taylor does not have that. He just has see ball, get ball, which I really like from a defensive lineman.
Your first guy that you picked.
Yeah. I mean, if you're watching college football this year, you consume college football content, this is probably the first name that you get. Jared Verse from Florida State, formerly at Albany. He is just a difference maker. And everyone's going to break down how well he bent. He's got great bend, great speed, great arm length, and everyone's going to break that down. But the root of it, for a football team, he's a difference maker. And when he's on the field, that means we have to slide to Jared Verse. And unless you got an awesome left tackle or an awesome right tackle, whatever, you got to slide to him. You're chipping. You're just to prevent a player from making a difference. And that's just the most important asset you could have as a football player, is commanding another team to scheme for you. And Jared Verse just has all the tools, and he's technically sound, takes the drills. I mean, just go to a football practice and you're like, if you go to a training camp, right, and you're looking at all the positions and you're like, oh, there's receivers running routes. You see the defensive linemen just slapping that tall bag, and they're just slapping it and ripping it, slapping it and ripping it. Okay, they're on their knees, they're shooting their hands, and then, they're just practicing hand fighting, practicing. You're like, oh gosh, that looks tedious. It is tedious. But if good defensive linemen can take it into a game and do the exact drills, and that's what Jared Verse does, and that's why he's so good. That's why he makes a difference. So he should be expected to have a good season again.
Yeah, he is like the perfect guy to pull up for teach tape. And you're talking about like training camp, and if you want to watch a guy put on a clinic against an offensive line, pull up the tape against LSU. First game of the season, he immediately announced himself to the world.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk of like, oh, this guy from Albany is supposed to be like a really big deal. Oh, he just came in and just blew shit up. Like, he didn't care. He immediately came at dudes' throats. He put Will Campbell on skates, who's supposed to be a really, really good offensive lineman, technically sound, stupidly twitchy. He is the full package. Somebody who I think is going to be a top 10 pick in this upcoming draft class once he does declare, which I believe he's going to be out of eligibility at this point. He could have declared for the last one, but chose not to. My other guy, who I also have a first-round grade on, is Bralen Trice from Washington. I think he is the perfect metaphor for a bowling ball or wrecking ball. He is just a massive, round, powerful, physical defensive end prospect. He just comes at you full force. He's got some of the best just power moves in the game of college football. And it feels like, because he's all the way out there in Washington, his name doesn't get brought up enough by the national folks. Like, everyone talks a lot about Michael Penix, but hey, let's talk about the guy that's on the other side of the football that is one of the best defensive ends in the country. He is so freaking good, and I think he's going to be a really productive player this season. Him and ZTF are two of the best, or one of the best defensive line pairings in all of college football. Why are you snickering?
I was, because when you said that, it all kind of clicked for me a little bit with the wrecking ball thing. The wrecking ball that people should be like associating with, you hear that, it's like Dante Hightower when he was on the Patriots, because he would just wreak havoc backside. He's just knocking guys over, complete wrecking ball. So Trice has a little bit of that in him for sure, and I love that. Every defense needs a guy like that that's just putting somebody on their ass. And from a lot of the clips that you've tweeted out about Trice, yes, he can do that and will do that. So it's not an official Sean Anderson comp, but for that, it's a little reminiscent of the Dante Hightower Patriots, which it's fun. It's fun.
Yes.
Trice is fun.
Your guy is actually very similar in that not similar style player, but fits that the description of wrecking ball, bowling ball, and he's a lot more stout than Bralen Trice is.
Yeah, that is Jer'Zhan Newton for Illinois, and we talked about him. We've talked about him in other previews. He's just a fantastic interior defensive lineman, and me personally, I have been outspoken about not drafting interior defensive linemen high. That's just, if I were building a team, there's a lot of guys that could take up space. There's a lot of guys that can go and battle with a guard for a while. And the current NFL has seen a surge of, and this trickles down to college also, of interior defensive linemen getting way craftier. They're way craftier. You don't have Big Pat Williams and Dan Williams on the Vikings anymore. You have Aaron Donalds, and everyone's looking for the next Aaron Donalds. And if you want the second tier from that, you have a Grady Jarrett. And if you want to stay big, you get a Dexter Lawrence. So or a Jeffrey Simmons. So the prototypes are starting to change. Jer'Zhan Newton is now following that prototype now of, I got to get crafty because I'm not going to get drafted in the 6th round just to be underpaid because I'm this strong and this big and everybody else is this strong and this big. So he's crafty. He just plays mean. He's got a great push-pull. A great push-pull, that will tell you if an offensive lineman can hang with you or not. If you can push-pull an offensive lineman, then he can't hang with you. And it's going to be a long day for that guy. I got push-pulled a lot. I couldn't hang a lot of it. But so if you have that, it's just very strong with his hands also. It's going to be fun. This Illinois defense is going to be fun with Newton leading the way.
I use the word brick shithouse to describe another player, and he is just low to the ground. He's so much lower than everyone. He's so much stronger than everyone. You're not moving him off the ball. His run game production is just fantastic. So I'm a big Jer'Zhan Newton fan as well. Moving us on over to the group of 5. My first player is Sean Peterson from FIU. Formerly, I think he was a running back, which is a very strange transition to edge. I'm going to double check.
It's a weird sport, man.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a long, lean frame. And the one thing that I wrote down on him in my notes when I did my evaluation on him, he attacks the ball like a bat out of hell. He's just full speed, reckless abandonment, just comes down hard and fast. He's got the burst, new to the position, as I said, and I think that he's starting to just really, really get that sense and that feel for playing the game. Actually, wait, I'm an idiot. He might have transferred.
Oh boy, here we go.
Continue who your next guy is.
Yeah, I'm going with Muhammad Kamara or Kamara from Colorado State. He is.
Oh, he's transferring to UCF. Damn it. He was a late one. I'm still keeping him on there. I don't give a damn.
The transfer portal is killing the show. Hack City is getting impact.
That's the first guy. That's the first guy that we've made that mistake.
For the position specific. But look, if you think that the colleges have it bad with the transfer portal or the poor coaches or the poor ADs, no. Hack City has it the worst. The transfer portal impacts us terribly. Because articles and news and you don't know. You just never know. But my first guy, Muhammad Kamara, Colorado State, just a lightning bolt off the edge. A lightning bolt. I really like him. He has a great second or third step feint that he hit a FBS team with. And he just got in and out of it. It was a perfect. I don't think it was a true ghost rush, but he's so fast it looked like one. He's got arms that just keep on going. They're just extensive anacondas attached to his shoulders, so he can grab the quarterback and get there. He is just a freak athlete. I really think freak. I'm not going to call him a freak athlete. I refuse to do that because that word should be reserved for the true freak athletes. But he is an exceptional athlete at the defense. He's just got a great jump, a good strike. I wish he could get just a little more power behind his hands when attacking an offensive lineman's chest, because that could set up for more inside moves or outside moves. But I'm high on him. I think he's going to have a good year.
My second guy, Trey Moore, who is at UTS. Oh no, they're going to the American. I almost just realized there that I thought I messed up again, but they're going to the American. So he's technically a G5 player. This is my head hurts.
Yeah.
My head. The offseason this past week, it was good for viewership on one of my shows. But my head legitimately hurts from trying to keep up with all this. Super physical football player. I think that we talk so much about that offense and Frank Harris, but they've got some pretty good defensive players on the other side of the ball as well. And I like that Trey Moore is just super physical, super strong. I think that power is hard to come by sometimes for these G5 defensive linemen. And I think that Moore is going to wreak some havoc now that they're moving on over to the American.
Yeah, you took Trey Moore from me also. I watched a good amount of film of his today. He's very instinctive. And he's instinctive where it's, okay, I have contain. There's literally nobody coming back to me. And I know the corner is there. I know the safeties. So I'm going to go make a tackle from behind. And he just follows the ball. Great nose for it also. And he's in the weird spot where I think that we could label him an edge. He's standing up a lot, but he can play. I'm pretty certain that he would be able to play fine with a hand in the dirt. Because he gets up on you so fast that offensive lineman, even if they know the snap count, but if you have a defender in your chest that quickly, then you're in a bad spot, and Moore puts you in that bad spot a lot. My next defensive player for the group of 5, Patrick Jenkins from Tulane, and this is what's fun about Patrick Jenkins. Tulane ran a 3-down lineman front a lot last year. Why are you getting so many sacks? Why are you getting into the quarterback so much? This shouldn't happen. That is not a defensive front where sacks are readily expected because you're at a disadvantage. 3 to 5. Oh, well, you might be bringing 2 blitzers in the A gap, and it's fine there, and now it evens out. Sometimes it doesn't. But Patrick Jenkins gets to the quarterback. He beats tackles consistently. I mean, consistently. And there should be chips. There should be help from the inside. He doesn't need to go to the inside. He's better on the outside. He's better sticking on the outside, taking the bend, taking an arm down, and getting the quarterback. It's impressive to actually see what he can do. If it's I'm looking at him right now, 4-eye, boom, cross the face, done for. Line him up on the inside of the tackle, cross the face, and he's back there. He's basically a cheat code for Tulane to have a guy in a 3-down front that can cause this much havoc. Patrick Jenkins, the great season last year, should have a good season this year.
Can't go wrong picking those Tulane football players. Kind of a bit of a trend that we keep picking those. This guy, I was just more than excited to write his name down. I rushed to write his name down. He was the first person that I wrote down in the doc. David Walker from Central Arkansas, a former Division II transfer to Central Arkansas. It's like I hate people get mad at me sometimes when I say that I wish some guys could transfer up. He can't because of his already transferred once. He can't do that. But him going to an SEC program, I think he would have that Jared Verse level ascension to notoriety. But he doesn't have that chance.
He's thick as hell.
He's stupid twitchy. He's thick as hell, but he's stupid twitchy. He is so freaking quick for his size. I think there's a lot of nuance to the way that he plays the position. For a guy that's coming from a Division II program playing at Central Arkansas, this is a top 100 pick for me. I think he is going to get drafted pretty highly, and either him or Kiram Adamaji are going to be the highest drafted FCS players. It's between the two of them.
There was I was watching some of him also, and sometimes when he lines up on the edge, he looks like a point guard before he makes a play. He's got the basketball in his hand, and he takes a quick jab step, and then dribbles and gets around. That's
his spin move is deadly.
He looks like a point guard playing football. And how could a defensive lineman look like a point guard? It just look at his feet.
Make it just figure it out.
He does to me. And it's a good pick. David Walker is a problem because as an offensive tackle, you're looking at him like, what's he going to do now? It's the third quarter. What's he, coach? He's gone inside. He's gone down my fit. Took the outside. He just stood there one time and then delayed and then went. I
love the ghost move.
He's just got the full package where you have an offensive lineman guessing, and they should never have to guess. It should be, I know where the play is going. I can win this. That's how it should work. The offensive lineman can make a guy guess, and it's just a problem. Yeah, he creates problems for offensive linemen. My first FCS defensive lineman here, Josiah Silver for UNH. So just a really solid defensive lineman. Last year, 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Just gets to the quarterback. Ball focused also. Just long arms, good balance, pretty bendy also. And he's been good in the FCS since he got in the FCS. So the continued path upward for Silver it's been noted by the show last year. It was noted by the show the year before. He's just a really good defensive lineman. And I don't know if it's the next level. I'm not sure, but he's going to tear up the FCS again. He just will. there's not enough good tackles for him to have less than 8 sacks this year. There aren't. There aren't enough good offensive linemen to prevent Josiah Silver from getting his. He's going to.
Mm-hmm. I think he's going to get drafted somewhere on late day 3.
Sure.
I am a big fan of him. Came on the show. Was a really nice guy to talk to. My last pick for FCS and just for the show, John Pui from William and Mary. He is probably the fastest FCS defensive lineman. He's a little lean. He's not super big, but he's bursty. He's fast. I think he's somebody who could maybe like stick on an NFL roster as like just a kick-ass special teamer. I don't think he's going to develop into some crazy productive NFL defensive lineman. He just doesn't have that in him. But he is such a really, really good FCS player. And he's so fast that he's hard to keep up with for these FCS offensive linemen. I think that Pui is going to be a big reason why that William & Mary is going to be the best team in the CAA yet again in 2020.
His speed is a little Isaiah Landish at a just faster than you think he's going to be. He's faster in person, and he's probably one of the fastest players on the field. So when you have that, and he can just your guy JOK, he was just so fast on the defensive side for Notre Dame that even if an offensive line was coming to block him, he could elude, evade, get around, do what he needs to do. So having a quick, twitchy guy like that with great stride is huge for the defense. My last FCS player here, defensive lineman rather, Jay Person from Chattanooga, plays defensive end, plays a little bit of linebacker last year, 8.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's a dude, Joe. I think you'll like this. Sometimes sometimes he's just lined up in defensive end, still has the neck brace, the cowboy collar sitting back there.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, this rocks. Because it's the middle linebacker that does it. Maybe an offensive tackle has it or guard or something. No, it's defensive end with the neck brace sitting back there. It's a great look. He's a thumper too. If he gets 3-point contact, you're gonna feel it. Sometimes wraps up a little bit. I'm not going to complain about wrapping up, but arm tackles. I'm only complaining about it because I wanted to tackle with his body more because he lays the wood. So I think he's very solid. And Chattanooga has a true leader on defense with Jay Person. They do. He is the guy that you go to make a big play, and he's the guy that makes them. So I'm excited for Jay Person this year, and he will be who I'm watching on Chattanooga.
Great picks.
Thank you.
At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio.
Did really well this week.
Subscribe.
I mean, really good.
Shut the hell up.